Welcome back into another episode of The Dig, which is powered by Emeritus. I'm Jessica Coody, and delighted to once again be joined by Brennan Hagar. Brennan, thanks for being here again.
Yeah, it's good to be back.
Hey, we were chatting with Danny Busboom-Kelly and her show about the fall and the pumpkin spice. You're a big coffee person. We chatted with you about that last time. Are you a pumpkin spice? Are you loving the fall stuff?
I am not. I hate pumpkin. I hate it all, unfortunately. But yeah, usually start drinking a little bit more hot stuff now. But yeah, not a pumpkin fan.
Well, we have to start off with that because you drank some good coffee. Harper and Campbell showed you some of their favorite spots over the weekend.
Yeah. So my first year we went to, I think we were staying at a local place, like wherever we were in Michigan, and there was like a Big B that I'd never heard of. And so the GAs and I like walked over, and it was really, really good. I didn't know that it was a chain there. And so then Harper's first year, she freaked out when I knew what Big B was. I was like, well, yeah, we went there last year. And so she really likes the chai from there. So it was like last year, I think she bought like a whole like giant bag of chai. And so I asked if she was doing that again. She didn't, but.
And that's Campbell's favorite spot too?
She likes, she's not a big coffee drinker, but likes, I can't remember what she likes from there. But yeah, I went to Big B, and then there was this really cool place. It was like Foster by Michigan State, which was really, really good.
Okay, so what constitutes a good coffee spot for you guys? Is it like the taste? Is it the specialty drinks? Is it the strength of the coffee? Like, what is it?
I like coffee that tastes like coffee. So
Okay.
I don't like...
You don't like the whole fancy, like, tastes like a milkshake type of coffee drink?
Yeah, some places, yes. But, yeah, if I can, like, taste, like, what the flavoring is, but more so if, like, the espresso or the cold brew is good.
Well, okay, let's get to it then. Another weekend that Huskers sweep and then also set attendance records. How were the atmospheres in Michigan?
Honestly, those might be my two favorite gyms now.
Really?
Actually. It was, like, it had been really loud at Michigan State the last few times that we had been there. But it was just really, really cool to just see that big of a crowd, especially with all of the local talent that's in Michigan, to be able to like show out for both us and their like home teams at both their basketball arenas, I think is awesome. I think that's a really cool thing that like getting to play in the Big Ten, you get to play in some really cool atmospheres and really cool gyms and arenas. I was like looking around, I'm like, this is a really, really cool environment for the sport. So it's really good to see that the game's like still growing.
How important is it to not take it for granted? I mean, at this point, everywhere the Huskers go, they set a record. I mean, and it just becomes, I think, something that we just, hey, here we go again. But how important is it to not take that for granted and to appreciate that, hey, look at these record crowds that are going everywhere we go?
Yeah, I think it's huge, especially from, I mean, I can't really speak for the players, but I would assume that a lot of them really like take that. Like, they don't take it lightly. Like, they're really good about, oh my gosh, this is, I mean, like, even at Rutgers, like, that was insane. That was so loud that, I mean, we filled their entire, like, their basketball arena too, that people really love to watch this team play and, like, love to watch this team play against their in-state team. And so I think it's just really cool that we get this experience and, are able to like see the growth just like more and more like every year wherever we go, that it's really cool that we're being able to like reach and get to see like other Husker fans like across the country. I think it's awesome.
One of the cool things you guys got to do over the weekend, because you went back home for Harper, you had some dinner at her house. How special is that just to be able to go and actually be in a home of one of the players?
It was awesome, yeah. I think it was like the first time in a while. We hadn't done it while I've been here, but I guess, well, besides, like, Becca hosted us the first weekend, but it was really cool to be able to, like, travel to where one of our players is from and get to kind of see, like, where they grew up, their, you know, childhood home, childhood room, just how everything is set up. It was pretty much what I expected. Our house is, like, awesome, so cool. Like, her mom was such a great host, and we got to have like other parents like in Harper's class there as well. So it was just like a really cool like environment to just not really think about like volleyball at all, but just hang out, like talk with one another, just sit in a space that's not volleyball driven, it was awesome.
Or like a restaurant, it's just like more of a family feel.
Yes.
It had to be a nice little kind of change up for a road type of visit.
Oh yeah, and I think that the one cool thing about just like this staff and this team, like the culture, is that we really thrive on moments like that, or those like little interactions. And so it was really cool that we were able to do that for like a longer period of time. I think we were there for like 3 hours. It was just really cool to just not have to worry about anything, just kind of sit, relax, enjoy being like in Ann Arbor. I'd never been like outside of like the hotel scene in Ann Arbor, and it was really cool. Like, loved it.
How giddy was Harper for you guys to be there?
I've seen Harper in a lot of like points of like happiness. That she was really, really happy to be. It was just really cool to see that, how important that was like to her. I think like everybody who's hosted thus far. I mean, we even went over to Manaya's house during our beach season, and just getting to see them have the team like in their environment, like where they grew up. I think it's just a really cool thing that I'm really happy that Danny was all on board for that. That's
very cool. All right, well, let's talk about the Big Ten Defensive Player of the Week, Andi Jackson. How would you describe her performance over the weekend?
She's, I think, really made a name for herself as not just an offensive threat. I think she's really, really, like we talk about, like taking pride in your craft, and her knowing and like always coming in like every year with that same goal is like she wants to become a better blocker. And it's honestly like physiologically, like she has to do some things that are different based off of like how she's put together as an athlete. And so it's being able to kind of know that and know the strengths of like what makes her great offensively, and being able to kind of like transfer that over as to the defensive side of things is a great challenge for me. Being able to like teach somebody else that's maybe not a traditional, like your average, like not average player, but like average, like middle blocker, where I'm having to like say things differently to her than I would like Beckham and I or Kenna. I think that's really cool that we're able to have such a variety within that position, that they're able to like learn and bounce like different techniques or ideas like off of one another, as well as myself as well. So I'm just super happy for her. Like, I think it's just a testament to all the hard work that she's done, and her having to like almost like not having a choice to be good day in and day out, both in conference, but especially in practice as well.
So what was it about, her block that was really, really excellent this weekend?
She was putting herself in really good spots to be able to like not only stuff balls, but touch them. And so being a great blocker, it isn't just about like how many blocks like per set you get. It's also, can you like as an attacker, can I feel the space that they're taking up? And it's like, if we're always putting her in a spot where she's taking away or is just in the space of that attacker's favorite shot, it forces them to hit a ball differently away from her that maybe they don't want to, and it's a little bit easier to dig. And so we're able to ball handle that. If we are in that space of what they want to attack, is she touching it? Is she touching it positively? Is she making an error? Is she blocking it? And so it's just really making sure that Andi, Beckham, and I, kind of whoever is in that position, is super disciplined to every attacker at all times. And so I think that's one of the great things, like as a middle, is you're really not having to change the positioning of like where your hands are a whole lot as compared to like a pin blocker, where you're having more responsibilities going to the left and right of you. We're really only blocking, like taking away the angle, but it's like how much angle are we taking away, or how much space am I dropping? Am I going straight over? What does my hand positioning look like? Those kinds of things. Yeah, I think that's just what made her so effective like this weekend, but not only like this weekend, but in this season as a whole. She's gotten so much better. She's not getting tooled as much, which is, I think, a huge testament to all the work that she's put in.
Is a lot of it too, we've talked a lot about Harper and her seeing things. Is that part of it too for Andi? Just like the game maybe slowing down and understanding when to be where and the timing and all of that?
I hope so. I mean, I would like to think so. I think that you can't be a great blocker if you don't have great eyes. And I think Andi's volleyball IQ and knowing like what to look at, and it's very simplistic in like what we say to look at, but it's the action of actually doing it is really, really difficult. And because you just have great athletes like all around you that you're supposed to defend, and so you're trying to fight the urge of looking at everything all at once. It's like, well, we don't need to do that, but it's understanding that time and like the maturity level, just playing at like a high level like this over and over creates the good habits. And so it's her coming out of not bad habits, but just maybe not as high of a level of eye sequencing. And so that is where a great block starts. And so if we're looking at the right things, we're putting ourselves in a better spot to block, touch, or affect our opponent.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay, so one of the things that Danny Busby-Kelly had talked about coming out of the weekend was that you wanted to focus on was the out-of-system blocking. Tell us about that and how that improves.
Yes, so I thought we were much better. So it's just a lot of really making sure that, again, are we looking at the right thing? So out-of-system blocking, we always talk about, we want to look at the ball longer than we do the attacker, just because the ball's in the air longer. And so ideally, I mean, we would hope that the attacker is going to get to where the ball is and not jump or attack where the ball isn't. So it's kind of self-explanatory, but it's really just making sure that our pin blockers are setting up in the right spot. But in order to do that, they have to be looking at the ball longer. And so I thought overall, like this past weekend, we really saw growth in that. And that's just helped timing, footwork, hand positioning, like all the stuff that we train is great. And we have like a lot of success doing that. But it's like, okay, if we're really good in a blocked setting drill where we know where the ball is going, how good are we actually when it's live, it's random, the ball's being set all over, we're not having like our traditional setters or liberos setting the ball so we know where it's going all the time. And it's just really making sure that when teams are setting maybe out-of-system balls differently or in different locations, how is that affecting our block? And I thought we were really disciplined. And yeah, we saw that with the success we had over the weekend. Okay,
so for Danny Busby-Kelly's show, we put out a tweet or on post on X that asked for fan questions. And I saved this one for you because it was about the middles. So Amanda Renee 81 on X asked this question. Now that both middles are on most teams' radars, what do you do to continue to get them good looks, one-on-one matchups, first two defenders always on them?
So I think, first of all, it's a great question. Like, really good question.
Thanks, Amanda.
Yes. So with kind of like what I had wanted to bring in terms of like new techniques or new routes and everything when I first had gotten hired on was ultimately like the end goal of kind of like how I want to go about like training middles and middle attacking. And Danny had said from the get-go that, oh, we want you to work with the middles. Just so you know, like, I want to be the team that sets the middle the most in the country. I was like, oh, sweet, sounds good. And so by having all these different routes and not being married to like one or two different ways to approach to the ball or different like set calls, it makes that so much easier because it's like, oh, okay, well, if they're blocking or taking away or helping on one set, we have so many other options and so many other ways to approach the ball to like ultimately help us. Like they're leading, like they're defensively playing into a system that we already have in place. So it's like, okay, great. They took that away. Well, now we can do this. And it's still like, we do it without skipping a beat. So we're always having routes available. We're always talking about, okay, they're setting up this. If they take this away, for example, if they're taking away Andi's slide, okay, that's great. We have other options available, like for her, for Becca, for Manaya, for Kenna, to be able to get open and also be effective. And so I think that's a really good problem to have because we're also able to set like away from them, and we have great attackers all around us. So it just makes us really, really hard to stop when we do that.
How have the players been at recognizing that pretty quickly off the bat, what they're trying to take away opponents?
I think they're really responsive. I mean, Andy and Becca will be like, oh, I feel like they're sitting or they're always fronting or whatever. I can feel there's certain spaces that they're trying to take up. And so I usually like end up like talking with Danny, Kelly, Jalen. It's like, oh, how can we like affect them? And it changes like opponent to opponent because every team's going to have strengths and weaknesses. And so we really look at what their defense does against like other teams and try to like almost like guesstimate what they're going to do based off of other opponents or maybe similar styles of volleyball that we play that they have defended against. And so I think that's a really good thing that we like cohesively talk about all of those things.
Well, we had again Danny on the show this weekend. She was just bragging on Kenna Cogill and her growth, and actually, in fact, said she's probably the player that's made some of the biggest growth jumps since she's been here as a Husker. She said it's hard to keep her on the red shirt candidacy.
I would fully agree. Kenna has, I mean, it's to the point where like other people like on the team are vocally like giving her praise like more and more and more. And I think that that's just a testament to her as a person, more than like anything, honestly. Like redshirting is not an easy thing to do, like especially when your team is having so much success around you. And I think that the people that we have like in the redshirting position have really bought into that. And we honestly don't have the success that we've had thus far without them like really buying into their roles and really making a commitment to making the people who aren't redshirting better, but also really taking accountability for their development. And so Kenna has been like especially good in that area where I kind of like took this approach from Jalen with Ryan Hunter, and it's just like setting mini goals throughout practice, and just that's their way of, okay, we aren't playing in a game, but it's like we're essentially playing like the top or like some of the best volleyball in the country, like in practice. And so how can we really see those growths and like muscle memory behavior changes in the live play without it actually being an actual game? And what does that look like? And I think Kenna's really, really taken ownership of that. And to the point where we've even had to like up her goal by what I think is a significant amount. And I mean, she blew it out of the water yesterday. I'm like, I had a feeling this was going to happen, but she's just such a great person to have in the gym, and is like, she's really committed like to her success, like through this redshirt year. And I think that people are going to really see the benefit of of all the time that she's put in. Like this season is really going to benefit her for the next 4 years.
Oh, that's great stuff. Well, you were also in charge of the the serve scout and prepping the team for that. You had to be pretty happy with the 9 aces and 4 errors on Friday night.
That was one of our better serving performances. Yeah, it was awesome. I tend to like write out per rotation just kind of what I think that we should do, and Jalen and I kind of collaborate on that as well. So like I'll have my notes, we'll send them, Jalen will have his, and we kind of like come together and talk about it and finalize the plan, because it's also setting up how our defense is setting up as well. So it's not just, oh, we're serving maybe the worst passer in that rotation. It's how can we affect a route? Oh, we know that in this rotation, this person likes to get set a lot. So can we make sure that that happens? And so, yeah, that like 9 aces is great, but it's also, we really played into defensively what we wanted to do and did a really nice job of that. And so hopefully we can continue that moving forward, especially since we play Michigan State again this weekend.
What about Terea Sigler and her job back there?
She's really gotten a lot better at float serving. Like she's, her technique is better. I think she's like her hand on ball has gotten a lot better as well. And so I know that Kelly's been talking a lot with her, especially on changing depths and how to do that. And I think that she's just someone who, like, even as her time like as a club player, like she's always going to go for it. And so it's just knowing that if it's her, if it's Taylor like serving in that spot, that we have two really good options. And I think that the moments that T has been given, she's really capitalized on that. I think that serving is just one of the few parts in volleyball that really shows like how confident you are. And so especially like Coach Cook would say that all the time. And I really believe that, where it's like, if you're really good in practice, but then you're afraid in a game, like how confident in your abilities like are you? And so I think that she's really trusted like her training and trusted the feedback, and is really, even like her adjustments in game, where maybe she doesn't hit a great serve there in system, but we end up getting the point. Like she looks at me and is able to like recognize what her mistake was and is able to fix it that next ball. So it's really, really good.
Oh, that's awesome. It seems like, I was actually going to ask you about that, just that it's so much about confidence, right? And it seemed like there's a lot of confident players back there on the service line for the Huskers.
Yes. Yeah. I really try to make sure that I'm never calling a serve or talking to them in a way that's like overwhelming, or if we don't hit this zone, it's like end all be all, so it's especially like, I personally love testing a libero like a lot actually. And so it's like also like not as much of them, but it's also like us as a staff, where it's like, like hit your best serve, where there might be times where it's like, I'm not even giving them a zone. It's like, whatever you're most comfortable with, go hit it. Like, I trust your best is better than their best, like, and making them really believe that. And so I think if we have 6 or 7 servers going who truly believe that like their best is better than any passer or any serve receive, that like we're setting ourselves up for the long run. Wow,
that's great. Okay, so let's talk about this weekend. You got Northwestern on Friday, and then a back-to-back at home, at least this time, but a quick turnaround with Michigan State. What are the goals for this week for this team?
We would like to maybe contain the opposite for Michigan State a little bit more. I thought we did a pretty good job overall, but I think that was definitely one area that we can be a little bit better. And then Northwestern, they just beat Michigan, so coming off of a great win, they're probably feeling like pretty good. They run a 6-2, kind of move a lot of players around. Just kind of like started looking at them today, but would just love to see us like compound consistency like throughout. Like, how long can we sustain this level of like discipline and focus defensively that ultimately leads to the success of our offense? And so I would love for us to keep doing what we're doing. And it's like, we're doing a really, really good job. And it's just like always fine tuning those little things where it's like, okay, this player did a pretty good job on us the last time. We'd probably expect her to think that she's going to have that same success again, and not overlook that just because of the result of the last game. And so it's never looking back and being satisfied with the last game. It's always like, okay, that was great, and now how can we up the level of intensity, up the level in the gym to make sure that we're like always climbing and we're not peaking too soon.
Fascinating stuff. This conversation just flew by, but appreciate your time. Great stuff, and always learn a lot. So appreciate you stopping by, and we'll look forward to chatting with you again here, I guess, in a few weeks.
Sounds good. Thank you.
Brennan Hagar with us on The Dig. Emeritus is proud to power The Dig and all of Husker women's sports. Thanks for listening and watching. And as always, make sure you subscribe and like wherever you listen to never miss an episode right here on the Huskers Radio Network podcast.